usually from someone being extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
But you have to just take advantage of that and just tear it open.
Okay, so now looking towards this next draft, TSM already locking in that Lyra. This is clearly a favorite for them. They are more than happy to take a Lyra into just about any composition. Now, Nova, what have they got to change coming into this game? Like, what can you learn from a draft against TSM to move forward in the tournament with?
Well, draft a comp that makes sense for your entire. If you're going to be a dive comp, draft everyone that can dive. You know, if you're going to be a poke comp, then draft 2 people that can poke, along with the person that can protect and keep off any dive hero. So they go with the Baptiste pick here, which is their signature draft. Is first picking at Baptiste so they can flex them to captain if they need to.
Yeah, certainly a very strong pickup for your first lock-in here. It's something that when Baptiste first started to enter the meta, it was very rarely first picked. It was something that you would pick as a counter to something like a Koshka. Now it's starting to... its role within the meta has changed dramatically, and now that you can flex it, it's much more strong in that first pick position.
Yeah, it's a pick that is, again, so versatile now that it really allows you to just kind of do whatever you feel like, and you don't have to worry about what your opponents are going to ban away, because you can just pick something that is either your jungle or your captain, depending on what your opponents do. So they ban away the Kestrel, and so
Target
now
ban.
Nova, yeah, very much target ban, but they're going to grab the Idris and continue to keep this flex available, which is great. You have to try and keep your opponent guessing during the draft, and this is what that pick allows them to do.
Yeah, so the Idris coming through here, I think this is Nova
Baron's
kind
up.
of predicting a Baron, right? They want to build this dive composition before Truck goes for the Baron, but I don't know if you... like, even if you build a composition that can fight Baron, just giving Baron to Chuck just seems terrifying,
Baron
right?
and Koshka are up here, actually. So they can actually do Baron Koshka and run the early game. The key now is just blocking those fearsome Shade ultimates, because more than likely this might be a Captain Baptiste. But we'll see. They might actually do like maybe Arden or something and let Delphi run a jungle Baptiste. So actually they're going to go with Glaive to counter the Idris. Glaive actually is even with Idris, not really a hard counter, but if he does get ahead of Idris, he can just stand his ground and fight Idris because he has more crit than Idris has, natural crit built into his kit. And now I think maybe Koshka could be a good opportunity here. Grumpchaw is still up. There's a lot of opportunities that TSM can pick.
Yeah, and for TSM, you got to figure they're going to look for something that has a bit of durability, but also they're going to want the burst. It's with an Idris and a Baptiste, whether it's a captain or a jungle Baptiste, you're going to want to try and blow them up before they can do the same to you. They're going to go for the Samuel, so that's going to be a little bit of durability that they're opting for and trying to just outlast the burst damage.
That's actually smart too, because Delphi normally plays the Samuel with the Captain Baptiste, so it actually denied a Samuel pick on Nova's side here. So now Nova will need to have the option of running a jungler with Baptiste instead of putting onto Captain and running a jungle Samuel here.
Yeah, we'll see what the option is going to be here, how Nova finish out this composition. Certainly, TSM, as always, managing to round out a pretty strong composition here and a fairly standard meta composition as well. Everything just very strong, very comfortable for them. I'm curious to see what Nova are going to do to try and counteract this. Like, what direction do you go in here? Do you go with something that can all-in alongside the Idris?
Ooh, Taka.
Apparently so. Taka's definitely got the all-in I was talking about.
Yeah, Taka used to be run as the counter to Samuel. It hasn't really been used that frequently this season, but last season for sure. It was when Samuel came out, it was almost a guarantee Taka was going to be on the other side if it wasn't banned away. So that's going to be the theory here for Nova, is trying to use the Taka to jump in, apply the Mortal Wound onto the Samuel, and prevent him from being able to heal up as much.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to make that come to pass here in this game. I want to talk about the compositions a little bit here, but I also want to talk about Nova specifically. Like, what can they learn? What do we want to see Nova learning from this game up against TSM? Obviously, TSM heavy favorites, right? You kind of expect them to cruise control through this final and get a 2-0. I feel like it would be unfair of me to say anything otherwise. It'd be sugarcoating. What can Nova do in this final to learn from this experience and come out stronger for next week?
Don't make as many mistakes. Watch your positioning. Like, TSM is very good at capitalizing on your weird rotations or bad mistakes, so they need to play a very clean game. Tight.
So looking for clean, looking for consistent, cohesive gameplay, Greg?
Yeah, not letting anyone get caught out on their own, which is going to be tough because obviously Samuel and Lyra very likely going to be a bit farther back than where Glaive is, but being able to just be cohesive. When Glaive goes in, the Drifting Dark needs to come out immediately as well, and just trying to make sure that any picks that happen from the Afterburn are solidified into a kill.
Okay, so looking at the compositions then a little bit more, what do Nova have to do if they do want this miracle upset, right? If they want to find this victory against TSM and get themselves another point on the board, what is it that has to happen this game? What do they have to do every single team fight?
Taka and Idris needs to dive, along with good combos of the ultimate Fearsome Shade. They need to delete either the Sammy or Glaive right off the map, and not get engaged on it. If Glaive afterburns them and engages, then TSM's going to win every fight.
All right, we'll see if they can make that come to pass. It's time to head on into the second game of our final. TSM up against Nova. If you believe in TSM, let us know with the hashtag Vainglory8. But if you believe in the upset for Nova, let us know as well. We want to see the fans come out in force on Twitter. But it's time to throw over to our casters for the second game in our final.
TSM versus Nova here in the North American final at Scoundrel. TSM looking to make this a clean 2-0, but if Nova have anything to say about it, then it's going to be Starboy on his Batiste looking for the upset.
Yeah, this has been the standout captain for Starboy. He practically carried on it yesterday, so he's going to have the opportunity to show TSM what he's made of. Made that Echo such a powerful pickup for him. People kind of questioned whether Echo would be a good itemization choice. He made it work so heavily. Goes toe-to-toe with Beshuk and A at level 1 here. The GL HF ping comes out. I think, again, if Beshuk can make a pick with Afterburn, I heavily favor TSM. But I think for both Taka and the Batiste are good picks into the TSM composition, so Nova have got a real opportunity here to level the series, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not like the Glaive is going to be finding a super squishy carry to pick off, a super squishy jungler to pack off. You've got a Taka and you've got an Idris, both going to build fairly tanky. Both have escape mechanisms as well. Makes the Glaive pick slightly more redundant than perhaps it could have been into a different composition here from Nova.
Yeah, and Glaive classically picked to duel versus Idris in the early game because, you know, Idris really struggles to duel against melee bruisers who don't exactly take a huge amount of damage. You know, I've seen a lot of weapon power Glaives do so well into Idris in the laning phase, especially if you try and catch out Idris once you pick up your Thoroughblade, get a little bit of crit behind you as well. I'm sure you have been on the receiving end of that sometimes, Dalsy, so... you know, that's classically where you often see Glaive picked up into this matchup because both him and Weapon Power Blackfeather function really well. Weapon Power Grumpjaw is another pick that you said you've struggled with on the Idris in the laning phase. Yeah, believe it or not, Weapon Power Grumpjaw can go lane.
I know that.
It's an interesting one. I mean, you're the guy that's been pioneering it, mate. So
I find that Glaive into Idris isn't too much of an issue in the laning phase. It's more when team fights start. Beshuk, though, in this Ordained is going to wait it out, then use his Afterburn. Very nice timing on that. It's all about the team fighting potential more. Whenever I go up against a Glaive, and it's typically Techno JJ, it tends to be just premier team fighting because of the fact that Glaive can isolate a single target, blow them up, and all of a sudden it is a 2 versus 3. So Nova will have to prioritize their defensive. Starboy will have to get to level 6 as quickly as possible because these tools, the Ordained, the Fearsome Shade, can shut down Glaive, can shut down Samuel, and I feel like that's Nova's win condition.
I do think Von C is going to have a massive range advantage to exploit as this game goes on, especially in the laning phase when they look to siege. So here we go.
Yeah, Starboy gets knocked out. He will get destroyed. There it is. Glaive just opening up the tables for TSM, ganking his own lane with the help of Von C realistically, and Starboy will be consistently at threat in the early levels until he gets that Ordained and Fearsome Shade up to a pretty nice level.
Yeah, Von C did a really good job too, just to sort of pull the trigger there with Beshuk. Lone Delphi able to steal a bit of farm away though, get level 5 up on the board, and now actually looking like he's about an entire level ahead of Von C right now. Von C has yet to do his backs, however, whereas that rotation I think had been completed by Lone Delphi. I think every Elder Trio has also gone over to Lone Delphi. I don't know if there's any other way you can explain that kind of experience gap. So, again, good start for Lone Delphi here into a matchup that he will eventually find success in, especially post level 6.
Gonna have to continue the pressure on Tucker, I feel, like Scoundrel. Make sure that Lone Delphi, as soon as he hits level 6, is looking for invades, looking for ganks, trying to snowball this matchup, especially for Truth, so he can become a bit of a threat. Of course, for Starboy, he is sitting at level 3. It's not the place you want to be on a Batiste. Really want to have 3 more levels. That's when things start to become fun, especially for Starboy, who we saw yesterday just be so strong with the Batiste pick. Lone Delphi moving into the lane. We are going to see Starboy go over to the shop, complete his fountain now. Stormcrown finished as well for Lone Delphi. A bit of a power spike for the Tucker as he does true damage. Able to do a bit of work to the enemy heroes here, but Nova haven't quite found an engage they want yet. They're realistically just allowing Truth to CS safely. They will steal a bit of gold away from Von C in the process.
Yeah, obviously there is the nice combo between getting an Ordained on a target and having them locked in with both Truth and Lone Delphi. Great single target focus in that scenario as Von C gets chased down here. Will get healed up by Flash X. An aggressive move as we've not yet hit level 6 right now for Von C, and Lone Delphi almost very close to level 7, still maintaining a 1 level advantage over Von C at this point in time.
This is so huge. There's the Oblivion going out, puts only the minions to sleep. That's a huge cooldown, huge ultimate, not finding any effect there for TSM. Gonna see this Tucker move into the lane, get the movement speed buff from Flash X, now threaten Von C. Von C's half HP, has no way to save himself, and Lone Delphi will put that pressure straight on. Easy pickup for Lone Delphi and a great rotation from Nova.
Yeah, and you can see why Tucker is considered one of the better counters into Samuel. So easy to shut him down with the mortal wounds. I believe he also get that forward healing tree on. And Nova looking like they are bringing out the guns in this second game of the series right now. They are not looking to go down without a fight here. TSM, I think they've got a bit of work on their hands if they want to win this one out.
Sorry.
No, I just don't know if they scale as well. That's the problem, you know?
I think that Samuel scales excellently. Glaive will scale pretty much evenly to the Idris. In fact, in a 1v1 against Idris will beat him late game. So the damage will be there for TSM, but you know, typically damage isn't the be-all and end-all of Vainglory. It's how you are applying, where you're applying the damage. Oftentimes games are won when the team just didn't deal as much damage as their opponents because they were able to delete people like Von C, who just walks straight into Lone Delphi. Is going to get the support of Flash X here. The Drifting Dark, though, finding absolutely no use for Von C in a bit of a panic move. Currently, Nova is setting the tempo here nicely, and they need to continue to do so because if Flash X is able to, you know, get TSM into a position where Best Chuck is finding engages onto Starboy or onto Troop and trying to blow them up, that's when Nova start losing.
Agreed. I mean, Nova need to coordinate their attacks in the late game to sort of have success in field. Both Lone Delphi and Truth, they have the ability to stick to one target, and you know they can very quickly put their pressure onto Von C. He should get deleted in the late game because there isn't many ways to stop both Idris and Taka finding a target if they want to. And by coordinating their efforts onto a single target like Von C on this Samuel, they should be able to get enough work to just delete him out of the fight and then worry about Best Chuck NA afterwards. So I imagine that's how these fights will progress for Nova as this game goes on here, Darcy.
Currently Nova just biding their time. Von C, level 8. Lone Delphi is just about to hit level 9. 5 CS in the lead there for the... Truth. I feel that, buddy. Is able to Shroud Step to Starboy, though. That is so huge for his escape ability. Jumps, blinks, everything in this game aren't completed until you land at your target point. So if you use your Shroud Step to blink away, but you haven't completed it, get afterburned just as your mid Shroud Step, then you will still get knocked backwards, even though Truth was on the other side of Best Chuck. Looks a little bit funny. It's just the way every jump works in this game.
The more you know. Smarter every day with Dalsy.
I know it because I've been on the receiving end many times, Eagle Scoundrel, so I had to investigate why I was becoming tilted.
Best Shark now picked up the Poison Shiv. Very classic double item spike. The Sora Blade and Poison Shiv is kind of the go-to item spike that most weapon power carries end up functioning with. Looks like we've got Truth a little bit ahead of that curve though, nearly hitting that nearly hitting that tension bow now for himself. A bit further ahead of Best Shark and Ale though, hasn't quite buffed that armor up to the coated plates level right now, but right now also Nova is in a really good position, you feel.
Yeah, and Lone Delphi's continuing to pressure Von C, stealing away camps, has that XP advantage for himself, has got the Aftershock and Infusion in his inventory as well. Nova are looking for a fight here. They've split up. Sorry, Best TSM are looking for a fight. They split up Nova, but they're able to escape. Fearsome Shade going to go out. It's going to be Flash X caught in it. Ordained traps him. Can they blow up this Lyra? Seemingly going to be a turnaround as the Drifting Dart comes out. Nova on the retreat now. Have a fountain available. Going to be popped as Truth goes fairly low from these Malice and Verdicts. Can heal up with his Poison Shiv though. Lone Delphi going to dive on in. Ordained stuns up Von C. He goes low. He gets destroyed. And now Best Chuck going to be the target. No afterburn. It's a double for Truth. Nova are winning these fights at the 10-minute mark and now going to be looking for a turret.
Fountain way too late from Flash X right there. And again, so good this Taka pick with the Idris into the likes of Samuel. So easy to re-engage and find the execute on that target. You saw Von C thought he was safe to take an aggressive position. Nope. Mortal Wounds comes down from X-Retsu. Starboy Truth also able to follow up on the back of that engage too. And very easily blow up Von C before he even receives the first tick of the Fountain healing because it was a little bit late from Flash X there. Starboy, Echo completed now. Echo is online. The double fear is there. Pretty big deal. Pretty big deal for Starboy.
I want to see the War Treads next Scoundrel from Starboy so that the side of Nova have so much chase potential. Perhaps even the double War Treads that I talked about, I think will be great either onto Lone Delphi or Truth. The movement speed for Nova is going to be the factor that wins their game. They've got two assassin heroes. They've got a Batiste with a lot of CC and lockdown. Look at Truth's ability to play aggressive. He is playing this Idris like no other in North America. Yes, we saw Araki Zoro play it yesterday, and he played it well, but I wouldn't say he stood out whatsoever as an Idris player. Truth, though, he's obviously invested the time, and this is something I like to see is North American players learning new heroes, learning new strategies, learning new compositions to try and deal with old ones. And it seems like Nova are trying to engineer something here. Currently with a gold lead for themselves, they need to keep this pressure up because if they can hold Fonzie back, then they have a really good chance of winning this game.
Bonsi's had to go for either Harvest second item because the sustain right now is so important to him in this particular matchup. So was going to lose a massive amount of damage being not able to focus the Broken Myth as a second item here. Looks like it's going to be a very quick Crystal Sentry take for Nova. Bonsi can't do much with the Malice and Verdict. TSM were not in position to contest that. And now Nova consistently taking advantage after advantage from this TSM team. If TSM lose a game here, that's an upset for Nova.
Oh, it's an upset entirely considering the fact that Cloud9 failed to take a game of TSM at all this split and they've played them 3 times. Nova coming in here to the final and taking one of TSM. TSM have only lost 2 games this entire season, X-Scoundrel. And so if one of them is to Nova, then that shows a lot about Nova's potential. These chakrams doing work. Von C gets the heal, but Nova are just looking to continue the pressure in the jungle, try and take over it at the moment. Going to get themselves a Treant heal on up. We're at the 13-minute mark, and you know, with 2 minutes until the Kraken spawns, these team fights becoming more and more important. Nova can't afford to slip. This is where, you know, newbie teams start making mistakes. Perhaps a seasoned team won't, but look at that. Engage onto Von C. Truth, though, will get knocked away. It's going to be the Drifting Dark put down, and Von C in trouble as Lone Delphi looks for the kill. Truth put to sleep. There's the Fearsome Shade. Lone Delphi diving in. They found Best Chuck and will trade the kill, though. This Eva Harvest keeping Von C alive. Starboy, Ordained, onto Von C as they look to disengage. Truth needs to go onto the Samuel, needs to go into it now. Look at the damage he's outputting. Oh, can't quite hit the chakram though. Shout Step will find the kill, and Starboy has kept his cool against Flash X as well. Nova win with a 2-for-1. They will get some chip damage onto this turret.
Oh, I don't like the way that Von C played that there. I think he should have been more careful to barrel in through the Lyra portal, because he delivered himself right to Truth. We then found that poison shift proc, the mortal wound went down, and Von C was not able to sustain as much. I think Von C should have been better off circumnavigating the entrance to the portal and finishing off Starboy, leaving Truth there, because that would have been the best advantage that I think TSM could have taken from that situation.
Currently Nova outplaying TSM. Are playing very aggressive, very risky, but to be honest, Excounge when they need to. They can't afford to let the pressure up. They can't afford not to continue being the aggressors. And if they are trading kills, then I think that still goes into favor for them. Idris should be able to 1v1 the Samuel due to the fact that he has the Assassin Burst with the Tension Bow with the Poison Shiv as well to try and cut down the usage of the Drifting Dark. We've hit the 15-minute mark. We will see the Wall Treads completed now for Starboy. Truth has also opted in for Wall Treads, so double Wall Treads coming out as I like it. Nova now just setting up around this Kraken area, trying to disallow TSM entry into the middle of the map.
And again, bringing TSM to them, making it easier for them to find the perfect opportunity to engage. FlashX does have a contraption now, so he is starting to build a little bit of a vision empire to deal with the likes of Lone Delphi, who will be looking to try and sneak in. But look at the scout trap vision right now for Nova, always so good, and TSM have got a lot of work to do to push that vision line back. Nova not letting up with those bad mojos and those chakrams. Looks like here comes Taka, moves his way through.
Yeah, it's going to be Flash X getting aggressed onto. Great fear puts Von C back, but not enough damage onto Flash X here. Nova can't afford to play this poke war. They need to all-in engage. Samuel will beat them every time. It is a Captain Batiste, not your typical Crystal Batiste that can out-poke a Samuel. And so Nova starting to realize that it's an all-in game or it's an all-nothing game for them. Von C very happy to continue this poke with the Eve of Harvest. Now looking to try and get that Broken Myth. If Nova can find a fight before Broken Myth is unlocked for Von C, their chances go up significantly. They need to be looking for it. They need to go in. Here comes Lone Delphi looking for Von C. Jumps on top. Drifting Dark comes out. Lots of damage onto Truth. Gets the Fountain looking for the work. Can they do it is the question. They've been split and Lone Delphi's trying to get a kill on the backline, but Truth gets destroyed. It's going to be Lone Delphi going down. A double kill for TSM. Best Chuck loses his life due to the X-Retsu, but now it's Starboy just trying to walk himself out alive.
Yeah, he will walk over the scout traps that Flash X has set up. He has got a good amount of vision in the backside of the jungle. He stood on top of a scout trap here as well. There should be, not an ace, because I think they should be able to get, no, actually there will be an ace. That's a lie. They're going to get an ace. Ace comes down for TSM. Samuel very slow at taking Kraken though, so I think they need to be careful about if they try and take this Kraken. I think it will be off the cards for them without Vestruck NA alive. But now that Von C has got a bit of gold behind him, he's working towards finishing up that Broken Myth. Only 500 more gold and he should be able to get that one. And if that turret does feed that into TSM, it will be a very big item spike for TSM to have.
Nova starting to slip here at Scoundrel. I think their choice of area to fight didn't quite work for them. When your opponent is refusing to move into a better position, you need to change where you position around the map. I guess Nova didn't want to give up control around the Kraken, didn't want to allow a vision line to be advanced by Flash X, but by pushing into the lane, they could have opened up their areas of movement, perhaps found a better area to fight. You know, the jungle seemingly favoring TSM more so than the side of Nova. They're going in for a re-engage though. Von C, oh, that's a huge fear, and Von C gets deleted. Starboy just facilitating this composition, and Nova gonna follow over and look for a double onto Best Chuck. The Ordained will trap him. It's a double for Lone Delphi, and Starboy once more stepping up on his Batiste.
Oh, TSM in such an awkward position, and again, like you said, Starboy finding some excellent uses of his ultimate with the Echo, basically rendering Von C unable to move and at the absolute behest of Lone Delphi and Truth there. But again, TSM not respecting the engagement potential, weren't quite in positionally the right situation for Von C to kite backwards, and Man, that was a perfect execution by Nova as they pick up the Kraken to start things off. Big win for them after TSM looked like they were making a comeback. Firmly stamped their foot down on Vonsi Samuel, who's only just picked up the Broken Myth. That was such a big spike for him to play with, but wasn't allowed to build any of those Broken Myth stacks up.
Truth needs to get the healing from this camp. Von C's laying down a bit of damage here. The Kraken will crash on into the turret here, but they should be able to get it fairly successfully. This melee composition from Nova does struggle with taking these turrets. They rely on the Kraken damage more so than anything. However, they can position with this Kraken onto the top side of the lane, and it will render Von C's Malice and Verdicts a little bit useless unless he wants to position very aggressively. TSM trying to do so, but that's a huge Ordain. That's Von C locked up. That's Von C dead. That's an Afterburn cancelled, and the Fearsome Shade will walk TSM back to their staircase. The Truth very low. The Fountain comes out. Lone Delphi gets tagged. It's going to be Best Chuck in this Ordain just held up, but Nova want the win, and they feel desperate for it. Going for these turrets. Truth taking a lot of damage, has to respect this damage coming out of Best Chuck. I love the Shimmer Strike, but it's not enough, and it's going to be Lone Delphi taking a turret. This Kraken will fall. They can't finish the game, it seems. Starboy needs to walk himself out of here because Lone Delphi is goner.
But TSM not in a position to get a huge retaliation from this, and now this is an open Vein Crystal against both an Idris and Attacker. You have to have such good vision control. Very lucky that FlashX chose to itemize into that contraption. Means they'll be able to keep an eye as if Taka wants to move down the lane. But that was a big turnaround for Nova. They made such a great Kraken power play as well. But TSM unable to get a huge amount from this, to be honest, Dalsey. They might be able to get one turret, but even then I don't think that's going to be the case because Truth is almost already up. I don't know how TSM approach this. Maybe Aegis needs to be finished by Von C, but he hasn't got the money because he has to invest in so many infusions.
Currently just struggling a Scoundrel to make ends meet. Von C. This Samuel pick, perhaps not typically a Von C hero. Right now, he is struggling against this Batiste. Such a great counter, and with the Tucker on board for Lone Delphi, just renders him so vulnerable. Truth can jump on top of him, the Tucker can drop on top of him, and a 3 versus 3 becomes a 2 versus 3 very quickly. Nova setting up for a fight. Here comes the Tucker. Vonsi will escape out of that Ordain. The Fearsome Shade will get blocked, but the Echo comes out. Here will come another one, it seems, for Starboy. Looking for it again. They're moving in onto the fight. Fearsome Shade knocks 2 back. It's going to be the Oblivion you set up. Truth going very low. He's struggling to duel. Best Chuck. Lone Delphi looking for the kill onto Von C, but the healing is there. I don't think they've got this. Nova not going to find the kills. It's Von C finding one. It's going to be Best Chuck finding another. Truth went for the aggressive play to try and finish the Vein Crystal, just currently hiding in a bush, but he gets spotted out. An ace for TSM. The Kraken respawn. This could be the comeback they needed.
Perfect reflex block by Von C to get him out of the Ordain. That has been what's been catching out Von C time and time again, basically resulting in TSM losing these fights because Von C's getting blown up. And then FlashX's Crucible, absolutely ridiculous. Then they were able to split up their team. It meant the second Fearsome Shade wasn't going to get the same level of effect. Von C was able to kite backwards, and when a Samuel gets his ability to kite, that is where Samuel's strengths come into play. He was able to kite backwards with that regeneration, so easily sustained then by the Lyra and the Drifting Dark regeneration. And that is what gave TSM the win there. It's the fact that Samuel Von C was not caught at the very start of that fight.
Incredible comeback for TSM. Gold is now almost even. TSM marching down the lane. This Echo not online for another 14 seconds. Nova will have to wait for it to come back up. This next team fight could easily dictate the game, Scoundrel, towards TSM or Nova. Each of them have the chance to finish it right here, right now. Echo has recharge. Nova can go for an engage. There's the Fearsome Shade. It hits all 3. Can they throw another one is the question. Ordained out, but this time it will get blocked up. Von C doing the work. They can't take him down. TSM gonna start killing Nova where they stand, and Nova gonna have to run for their lives. Truth trying to chase his way to the base, but Best Chuck will be able to deal with him, and Lone Delphi cannot take down Von C on this Samuel. And ace for TSM. They adapt to Nova's composition, and they take the game.
Oh, TSM finally finding their way back into this game. The broken mist was such an important pickup for Von C to give him the sustain necessary. He built up some broken mist stacks before that fight. The more damage you do, the better your even harvest sustain becomes. And he was able to sustain his way through what was a massive, massive aggressive push in that mid game to put pressure on him. Flash X's Crucibles was pretty good, but especially Von C picking up a Crucible at the end there as well. Also very impactful for TSM. Man, I mean, that was just a really, really good mechanical step up for Von C to be able to just basically survive the initial engage.